It would be dangerous to drink 2 bottles of whiskey and drive a car. It is very dangerous to cross a busy street before the light turns green. It is really pleasant to take a walk early in the morning listening to birds sing. Most Japanese high school students go to a cram school to prepare for college entrance exams. When waiting for the elevator to come or the traffic light to change, most Japanese people become irritated in only 30 seconds. An elderly woman sitting next to me on the train asked me where I was going. Tom told us that we should rent a car to get around the city because the public transportation was inconvenient. Everyone should be free to decide when to get married and whether to have children. It is impossible to predict where and when there will be a major earthquake. Tom insisted that everything would be all right, but I couldn't help feeling worried. It never occurred to me that my remark might hurt her feelings. Tom, dinner is ready. Okay, Mom, I'm coming. I'll call you when I get to Narita Airport. If you take the train to Tokyo Disneyland from here, you have to change 3 times. I've decided to look for a job abroad when I graduate from college. This dryer doesn't work. Something seems to be wrong with it. The best thing about my stay with an American family was that the parents treated me just like their daughter. I lived in Canada for 3 years when I was in my teens because my father was transferred there. The internet is widely used, so sales of personal computers have been rapidly increasing over the last few years. I've often heard Tom boast that he is very good at swimming, but I've never actually seen him swim. It has been only a week since I began a part-time job at a convenience store, but I'm already used to it. When I got on the train this morning, I couldn't find an empty seat. I'm not wearing glasses now, so I can't make out what the sign says. Less than 24 hours after I return to my hometown, without realizing it, I start to talk in the local dialect. Humans learn to express what they think by the age of 5 or 6. Thanks to the map you drew me the other day, I managed to get here without lost. Last summer I took 2 weeks off and went on a trip to Europe with my wife. Bob had changed a lot, so when I saw him at a class reunion, I didn't recognize him. When I visited my hometown for the first time in 20 years, I found that it was no longer what it used to be. I stayed up till 4 last night preparing for the math lesson, so I feel very sleepy. I finished reading the novel I borrowed from the library yesterday, so now I have nothing to do. If you had taken this medicine and stayed in bed, you would probably have got well in 2 or 3 days. The teacher says that we should stay here for a while because if we left now, we might get caught in a thunderstorm on the way. People wish they could live forever and never become older. However, if this wish came true, there would be too many people on the earth. People wish they could live forever and never become older. However, if this wish came true, there would be too many people on the earth. Anne looks happy. Something good must have happened to her. If you have been to old European cities, you must have been impressed by the beautiful streets. Without fossil fuels such as oil or coal, the history of the 20th century would have been completely different. Some students coming to the library act as if they are in a coffee shop. When I was a child, I often wished my house were a little larger. I'd like to work as a volunteer helping victims of natural disasters such as floods or earthquakes. Tom has nice drums and he never lets anyone else play them. At first I thought Tom was joking, but later I realized he was serious. Last Sunday I tried making Italian food for the first time and it was delicious. Some people say that they don't like summer because it is so hot that they don't feel like doing anything. However, I like the heat of summer because I can swim in the sea. James came to Japan 8 years ago not only because he wanted to visit temples, but also because he had a Japanese girlfriend. I am against human cloning, that is because it could cause duplication of dictators. The graph shows that in Japan the birth rate has been decreasing since 1985. This decrease is partly because it costs a lot of money to raise children. I apologize to Anne for being late, but she didn't forgive me. During the math class, my cell phone began to ring and the teacher severely scolded me. I regretted that I hadn't turned it off. I'm so busy doing the housework every day that I have no time to see a movie. This wooden desk is too heavy for me to carry upstairs alone. While traveling in Europe, I was disappointed that wherever I went, there were many Japanese tourists. I was very happy when I saw my mother going to work wearing the earrings I had bought her. If you expect that schools only teach academic subjects, then this proves that you don't understand what schools are for. Most Japanese people spend most of their time working to live. Japanese people usually express their feelings as indirectly as possible so that they won't offend others. Whether a college is good or bad depends not only on how many books its library has and how good they are, it also depends on how intelligent its teachers and students are. The increase in the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere is closely connected with global warming. The more modern civilization advances, the longer we are forced to stay up at night and the less sleep we get. Doctors and teachers are alike in that both of them deal not with things but with people. Professional baseball is far more exciting at a stadium than on TV. This motorbike is about twice as expensive in the UK as in Japan. Just because young people today read less than they used to, it doesn't always follow that they are less eager to learn. Frankly speaking, the entrance exams I took yesterday were far more difficult than I had expected. A lot of people have personal computers, but very few of them know how to use them effectively. A lot of housewives complain that prices are too high. In some countries people have too much food, while in others tens of thousands of children are starving. Don't forget to turn off the air conditioner before you go to bed or you'll catch a cold. There is a saying that a cold can cause a variety of diseases. Take care not to catch a cold. On the internet, you can exchange thoughts and ideas with people all over the world, regardless of their age, sex, or nationality. However much exercise you get, you won't lose weight unless you count your calories. Although you believe you know a word, you may learn something new if you look it up in the dictionary. Some Japanese tourists lack common sense and carry a lot of cash in their back pockets. In order to stay healthy, you should have a balanced diet and get regular exercise. If you live in a developing country for a while, you have an opportunity to look at Japan from a different point of view. It is not until you go abroad that you realize how many neon lights there are in big Japanese cities. It is a pity that many Japanese people mistakenly believe that they have only to speak English to be internationally minded. It is surprising that many Americans don't care how you pronounce English as long as they can understand what you are trying to say. The best things you can do to protect nature are to reduce garbage and to use environmentally friendly products. It is said that 7 out of 10 young Japanese people don't believe in religion. Ways of greeting vary from country to country. In Japan, bowing is more common than shaking hands. Hamamatsu is located east of Lake Amana, which is famous for its beautiful scenery and delicious fish. Quite a few elderly women look down on their husbands who cannot do anything by themselves and ask too much of them. The movie theater is about 20 minutes walk from here, but it takes only 5 minutes to get there by subway. It cost 10,000 yen to have this bow repaired. There are 4 in my family. Our apartment is on the 5th floor of this building. The tendency for young people to believe everything that is printed is nothing new. When I was studying in Paris, a famous painter bought me a meal at a first-class restaurant. Tom finally realized his dream of becoming an astronaut, but at the expense of many other things. If city life gives you stress and fatigue, it is best to relax in the mountains or in beaches in order to relieve them. In Japan, women have difficulty getting promoted or returning to their jobs after giving birth and raising their children. In the US, parents drive their children everywhere until they are old enough to get a driver's license. Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to the post office? Go straight for 2 blocks, then turn left. You'll find it on your right. What do you think of our new teacher? There is something about her that attracts me. People who don't feel guilty about occupying 2 seats on a crowded train really make me angry. Everyone is born with a talent. The question is whether they can find it or not. When I left the office for lunch, I ran into an old friend from high school. This music is worth listening to over and over again. I recommend it. Teeth play an important part in your health. If you want to stay healthy, you should brush your teeth after every meal. Bear in mind that if you have enthusiasm, you can succeed in anything. However fast we ran, we couldn't catch up with Tom. No matter how old you are, however old you are. Lose your weight. Gain weight, put on weight, gain 1.5 kilograms, check my weight, watch my weight. It is well known that balanced diets are good for your health. For health, many young people don't have enough common sense. Chinese people don't have enough common sense not to throw away. You shouldn't start speaking before you understand what you want to say. I have visited America more than 10 times, but I had been to America only 3 times before I turned to 20.